Hi there, this is Raghav again, and we'll be discussing today how to debug in JavaScript in the browser. We'll be using a very minimal application in this video to demonstrate how we debug the JavaScript. Debugging is required to find out errors in your code. We'll be discussing about debugging using console.log statements. We'll discuss about debugging using breakpoints in debugger. We'll be discussing using conditional breakpoint to debug the code efficiently, and we'll be discussing events bound to an elements. So that's how we'll go through it. So I will be showing the application. So we'll be using very minimal application where all the vehicles are rendered, and we'll be using a React application for that. So let's start, and I will break this application in the starting, and we'll see how we can debug this application. So I'm trying to open this application, and I can see there is something which is breaking and saying cannot read properties of undefined reading icon kind, and it's saying that app.js line number 14 is getting problem. What you can do is you can directly click on this file to find out where is the error is. So it's saying app.js line number 14. When you click it, it will take you to that file in the sources panel where you can check where it's actually breaking. We are having an error like vehicle.icon details might be undefined for our use case. But for which vehicle? We are having a lot of vehicle. I'll show you the data. So if you see, we have a lot of vehicles in our data which is rendering, and we don't know for which it is breaking. So let's try to console in the starting. I'm doing a console log. I'm logging the vehicle ID. I have a vehicle ID parameter, and I'm logging icon details. So it might be possible because we are not able to access icon kind. Icon details is undefined. So let's see how it works for us. So let's see the console, and yeah, we are getting a lot of consoles, but at some point of time we will be getting some undefined value. So let's see if we are able to find it. I'm scrolling, and yeah, I can find a undefined for a vehicle number 561. So let's see for what the problem with vehicle number 561 in our data. So I'll search the 561. This is a 561 vehicle, and I am having icon detail, but in all other I'm having icon details because we are accessing icon details, and that's why it's breaking. There is some mismatch in the key. So let's modify it to S, and let's see if our application works now. Yes, our application is working correctly now. So I'll refresh it once more to see if everything is working. You can also debug this problem using breakpoints. So how the breakpoint works in JavaScript. In the sources panel, when you have a JavaScript file, you can directly add a breakpoint and refresh your application. This will break at the point when the compiler will execute this line. So basically, we are looping on the vehicle data in this scenario. We are having a vehicle. For a vehicle, we have a vehicle.id and we have a vehicle.icon details. Basically, you can check any variable in the file by just hovering on it. When you hover, it will show you the details of that. So you can quickly debug like what's the vehicle ID, what's the icon details I'm getting. So that's how you can debug. So I'm just playing. It will again break for the next vehicle. So that's how we can debug. So let's move on to the next part. So let's say if our application is working in a good manner. I can see all of the vehicles are painting, but this URL, this vehicle icon is not painting. So there must be some problem with this vehicle. I'm not sure what is the problem, but what we can do, we can always inspect an element using the inspect panel. So you can check by inspecting, and when you inspect, it will highlight the element that you want to inspect to. So let's say I want to inspect this image. It is showing this is an image having a size of 60 into 60. I'll click it and see what's the URL, because it seems to be a URL breaking. So yeah, I'm not able to get a good URL here. So let's move back and see if we are having a good URL somewhere else. So let's go back and see if we are able to debug this problem. So how I can debug this problem? I can add a debug point here, and it will try to refresh. And I'm getting a modified data. I can check for all the modified data that this is the vehicle and what's the icon we are having. If you see, there is slash ahead of every vehicle, but for our vehicle it was not showing. But we know that which vehicle it was not showing. We know it was not showing for mock device 800. So what I can do is I can add a conditional breakpoint. So let's add a breakpoint and refresh our application. So it will break for the first vehicle. Now let's say we have 4,000 vehicles. So it will stop for every vehicle, and it's very difficult to debug in this manner. What you can do is you can add a conditional breakpoint. So you can just add this breakpoint, and we can add any expression that evaluates it true or false here. For my use case, let's add modified data dot number should be whatever we have. Let's say mock device 800. I'll press the enter, and this has now become a conditional breakpoint. It will only break when this condition will be true. I'll just resume my debugger, and it will stop at some point of time. Yeah, it stopped, and now I can see that modified data has a vehicle number this, because that it will break at this point only. The icon is not properly formatting. So I can see what's the problem. I can see the whole vehicle object that is coming from the backend, and I can see that icon details service URL doesn't have a slash in the starting. Okay, every other vehicle we are getting a slash, but for this vehicle there is no slash in the starting. So that's how you can add. So let's see if we are able to find this problem. Okay, that was our vehicle. I'll directly search for this vehicle. It's my vehicle, and I can see there is no slash in the starting. Correct. So we found our problem. I will add this and see our application is working fine now. Let's resume it and see if it is working. Let's do a refresh. Okay, it's do automatic refresh. So yeah, that is working. Great. And I've added an on click on each of the image. When you click on it, it shows vehicle clicked as this. So now I will break this click using some code, and we'll find out how we can debug the events. So I'll just break the application. So now I've break the application. I'll show you how I'm working on this. This is for the top banner. Inside that, I'm looping all over the data. I'm having all the li elements. Inside there is an image which I'm having an on click, which I'm directly calling on image click. On image click is a function defined on the top, and when we click on this, it will show the alert. So let's see if it is working or not. When I'm clicking, it's not working, and I'm not sure why it is not working. But we have a very good solution to find out the problem which you are not able to debug the events directly from the code. So in the elements panel, if you select any element, let's say this element I'll select, this is the image element, I can see all the event listener here that is bound to this element. So let's see what all the event listener is bound to it. So there's a lot of events I can see, but our focus is on click. So let's see the click, and there's a lot of click bound to it. But in the app.js only, there is 2 clicks bound, you can see. Correct. So what I can do is I'll remove them one by one and see what's the problem. So this is an event which is adding on the line number 29. I'm adding an event. So let's see if removing this event will work or not. So let's go to inbuilt panels again, try to remove this and see if it is working now. Okay, it's not working. It might be possible that we have to remove this as well. Yeah, it's working now. Basically, you can try and test just by clicking remove, that is added from anywhere in the code. So it might be possible that some other third-party library is adding some event that is not triggering your events. So in this case, what we can do is I'll just refresh it again and see where I'm bounding this event. And let's go to the event listener again. On click, I can directly click on the file. It will show me I'm bounding on line number 29. Let's see our code of line number 29. And yes, so basically I broke this application using a click event listener that is preventing all the clicks happen on the image element. Any third-party library can do this for their purpose. So let's say you're using any other third-party library which is tracking on your website. So it can break your website, and you can find out who is breaking, and you can clearly find out the error. So let's comment this out and see if our application is worked after that. So it will auto refresh. Yeah, let me refresh it once more to ensure that all the events are fresh. I'll click on this, and this is working. And if I add it again, let's say I'll add it again and see how it's behaving right now. Let's do a refresh and see how it's working now. Let's click on it and it's not working. Basically, you can find out any event listener bound to an element using the event listener sections, and you can find out all the events that is bound. So this is a React DOM events which is added using the image on click attribute, and this is the event listener that added from the use effect. So we have removed it as working and it's not working. So that's it from my end. So we are able to learn today the debugging using console.log statement, debugging using breakpoints. We added conditional breakpoints as well to debug our code, and we use events bound to an element. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends. Thank you.